Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm one of the product managers at Threecolts. Welcome to another episode of our Founders Interview series. In this series, we highlight the journeys of entrepreneurs and share insights about the e-commerce world. Today, we welcome Henson Wu, who's one of the co-founders of FeedbackWhiz. Hi, Henson.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Can you tell me a bit more about yourself and your background?
Sure. I used to be an engineer, and I worked in high-tech industry for like 13 years. And then I decided to start my own business. But during this time, before I was actually an engineer, I always had an interest in e-commerce. So I would sell products on eBay and also do like side hustles, and eventually started selling on Amazon. And that's kind of how I got into this Amazon business.
And what was your motivation to actually start the e-commerce business?
I just always had an interest in e-commerce and selling products. I like the entrepreneur journey of just figuring out, like what kind of products I'm interested in and like how I can make a profit on it. That's basically like how I got started.
And how did you start helping other sellers do the same thing as you did through the tools?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was selling like private label. I was doing retail arbitrage. I was in the clothing industry. I did some cosmetics, and then I did some kitchen products. I partnered up with, some family and some friends. And, I think the biggest thing that I realized back then, this was about 2014, was that, every seller needed to basically build their brand reputation and get product reviews. And I wanted to figure out like what is the best way to get product reviews. So that's kind of how I transitioned into FeedbackWhiz.
And can you tell me a bit more about like the early days? How did it all get started? Like, what were some of the first challenges you faced?
Yeah, the biggest challenge really is, starting a brand or a business like from scratch, right? You just really have no idea on, the risks, like how well it's going to do. Is it going to fail, right? These are all questions that go through your head. I would say that in the beginning, it was a lot of hard work, like endless nights staying up, researching competitors, researching just how, a product itself how you would market this to people that would actually pay for something, right? And then the design of building it out and speccing it. And, it's a very, I say long and gruesome, it was hard, yeah.
So can you tell me a bit more about FeedbackWhiz and kind of what problem is it trying to solve, or originally what was it built for?
Yeah, originally what we were trying to do was basically how to leverage your customers to leave you a feedback or review, and how we can kind of convince them to leave you a review, because reviews is literally the lifeline of your product. And without reviews, like no one's going to buy your products. So the concept was really, back then, like Amazon really allowed you to communicate with your buyers and basically kind of solicit in different ways. Like you can kind of manipulate your language or reach out, but really it was more of a way to offer great customer support, like letting their buyers know that like if there's anything wrong with the product, like you're there to fix the problem. But at the same time, you can also offer them like, discount, promo code. Like these were all things that Amazon allowed before. So we were trying to figure out how can we automate this process. So every time someone buys your product, you can have these emails sent out automatically. So that was our initial design of FeedbackWhiz. But then from there, there was already existing products out there that did that functionality, but we wanted to make it better. So we, try to be more creative and figure out like how can we make this product better? So can we add images? Can we add videos, right? Can we allow customers to reply based on like, what kind of products they buy or when they purchased it, or not send it to specific types of customers or, people who return the product. So really just trying to think about all the different possibilities and all the different ways that we can help sellers maximize their conversions.
Awesome. And how did it evolve after that? Because I know you added quite a few features afterwards. How did that come about? Like, how did you adopt to the market, I guess, in that way?
Yeah, so the way we evolved was really not the best way we wanted to evolve. We really started this as a brand reputation tool, was to really help sellers improve their brand reputation. But back in 2020, Amazon came out with some new communication policies where they try to restrict on how sellers can communicate with buyers. And at that point, we kind of decided that, hey, there might not be so much more we can really innovate on this part of email automation. So we decided to transition and start building other products that would complement the brand reputation side. And one of them was really the FeedbackWhiz alerts tool, which helps monitor your listings, gather your product reviews, and make sure that your brand is, no one's like messing up your reputation, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other part was the profits accounting tool, where we can give sellers their insight of their entire business and see how each product is performing and keep track of their P&Ls.
So were there any key milestones or any turning points in the business that you experienced?
I mean, as an entrepreneur, like building a product and a business the first time, I think mentally it was just more like revenue milestones. Like when you first hit your 10,000 or first hit 100,000, right? Or you hit, 1,000 subscribers. Like these are just mentally like you feel good about yourself. But I think the biggest one was really like your first customer coming in, right? It's like, hey, I launched a tool. I sent about a bunch of emails to as many people that I knew that were selling on Amazon. And then you get that first sign up. And that's just really exciting milestone, I would have to say. That's like my most memorable one.
And have you guys had to take any kind of like pivots in kind of changing your ideas or any features? Or is it kind of like smooth sailing from the point that you were able to launch like the first few features?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, before Amazon was regulating a lot of features, my favorite features back then was we figured out how to connect the buyer to the review. Mm-hmm. So we had this thing called buyer review matching, which basically leveraged the product review monitoring with the email side. So every order that came in, we knew, every product review that came in, we knew which order it came from. Mm-hmm. So with that data, we can now set up like these email segments to reach out to someone who left a review, whether it's positive or negative, and, say like, hey, I know you had a negative experience with our product, like here's a free like product, or here's a refund, things like that. So, but the funny thing was Amazon took note of it and they caught on and saw we were offering this service, and nobody else had this technology because we figured out how to do it. Mm-hmm. So they actually called us in to Amazon headquarters to talk about it, which was kind of scary, but kind of fun at the same time, because we got to meet the Amazon team, and they're actually pretty friendly. And, they just basically told us like, hey, we like your software. We want to invite you to like our, this is before the App Store came out, but they gave us kind of ultimatums like, hey, you guys got to stop offering this functionality because, we're trying to protect, the product reviewers' identities. So we kind of had to pivot and eventually remove that feature from our.
Are there any other like success stories that you can share from the journey, or any like memorable moments?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of memorable moments. Being able to bring on like a very big customer, enterprise customer, or like brands that we use on a day-to-day basis, and just saying, oh wow, today this brand signed up, or bringing on our first agency and being able to acquire some of the biggest agencies out in this Amazon aggregator space is very exciting, because they suddenly bring on all their clients, and you go from, one account to 100 accounts, and it's an awesome experience.
Well, how did you guys end up being acquired by Threecolts? What was the story there?
The story there was Yoda, I think, randomly sent me an email, and he kind of introduced himself and said that, hey, we're kind of in this business and we really like your business. We want to acquire you. And funny thing was, when I first got his email, I mean, we never had really interest on selling the business, because of course, as an entrepreneur, you want to, just ride it as far as you can, as much as you can, take it to the highest revenue or growth you can do. So I kind of dismissed his email, but I obviously like to communicate and have conversations. And in this space, like, it's a small community, so you want to try to network with everyone you can, right? So of course I had a conversation with him. I liked him. I feel like he's, he had these lofty goals because back then I think maybe there was one product or something that Threecolts has. So I was kind of like, oh yeah, good luck, trying to get to where you're trying to get. It's not an easy journey. But later on, I think this was Prosper of 2021 where we ran into each other again. And then we kind of noticed that the landscape of Amazon SaaS tools has kind of shifted a little bit in terms of now there's all this money coming in for SaaS aggregators. The year before it was more brand aggregators, right, that came in and started acquiring companies. So we're like, oh, this is interesting. But at the same time, we kind of try to picture a longer term outlook saying, well, if we don't sell our company or, or Threecolts or whatever aggregators buys our competitors, will we be able to grow as fast as they can, right? Because now they have advantage of multiple tools, multiple products, bunch of money, right? So that's kind of how we started getting into this. Yeah.
So how has the transition been since joining Threecolts?
Transition's been great. I would say, we didn't really know what to expect when we came on because, you really don't know, right? Like whatever contract you sign, once you sign over the company, it's like, it's not really under your control. But I would say everything that, we spoke about with Threecolts before the deal, like, I'm happy with where we're at today. And everything was very smooth and, we were still able to kind of have oversight with FeedbackWhiz and try to do everything we can to, accelerate the growth. So it's been a good transition, I'd say. Yeah.
And have a lot of things like changed or stayed the same, like at least day to day?
Yeah, I think everything's pretty much the same. The team is still there. Everyone's still doing day-to-day jobs. But I would say we definitely have a lot more resources now because, with other parts of the Threecolts team, we can tap into, a lot of other founders and people who've worked in this industry, maybe in different products, but share different experiences and, tap into their knowledge and ask questions. So I would say on the support level, we definitely have, a lot more support there.
And more of a general question, but what recommendations would you have for any other entrepreneurs who are looking to maybe scale to the next level or get acquired? Like what word of advice would you have?
Yeah, just believe in your product. I'd say, if you have a good product, just, continue to try to grow it as much as you can. And, if you feel like it's the right time if you want to join a team, like Threecolts, I would say the biggest support is, you have all these people that are in the same industry and, complementing products that can actually help grow the product you're trying to sell even more. And, I think the support is really the biggest thing. Right. Sometimes like you're running your own business, you might run into some roadblocks, right? It's like you might reach a level and you just can't grow anymore for whatever reason. Either it's funding, it's, having that right team, right, for product. So yeah, I would say my biggest advice really is to, think about like what's most important. Is it like, do you want to grow your business? Are you selling because you just want to get out of it, or you want to keep growing? If you really want to keep growing, either way, I think, it's a good decision,
And are there any projects that you're currently working on that you could tell us a bit more about, or any projects you want to work on in the future?
Yeah, so after joining Threecolts, I decided to kind of join more and focus more on the product side. So working with the product team, and one of the things with FeedbackWhiz is, we have more resources to help further develop some of the products that we have, some of the tools that we were trying to build before, and even integrate into some of these other marketplaces like Walmart, right, and offer the same services for multiple marketplaces, which I think really is the future of e-commerce, that most of these big brands eventually will probably take over the majority of e-commerce space, and they're going to expand worldwide. They're going to expand to every marketplace they can, right? So having the opportunity to, scale or, transition to another marketplace, I think really is key because, with our team, and we have limited resources, we can only focus on specific projects that might accelerate. But now we have, more of a overall group of, resources that we can use. We can, make better decisions on where to scale.
So what would you say is the future of FeedbackWhiz? Like, what's the next step in the vision in the future within Threecolts?
Yeah, I think the future really is to continue building on top of the features that we have with our existing FeedbackWhiz tools. So whatever we can to make, to help sellers, build their brand, right? So for example, like Profit's tool, if we could take it to the next level, we'll start integrating with accounting tools, right? And make a seamless transition where maybe the sellers could just pull all their data, send it to their CPA, and everything's done, right? It's like everything's accurate. So little things like that, and even with alerts, like we've built a lot of features where, they have customization over, manually inputting thresholds for specific alerts. We can offer those same alerts on different marketplaces or different, there could be a lot of different things that we could help them monitor, but just to continuously grow the existing tools we have and features, functionalities.
Cool. And what do you think makes FeedbackWhiz unique in the market today compared to any other tools that are kind of the similar type?
Yeah, I would say like on the email side, one of the things we've done from day one is we try to aggregate as much data as we can on the order side. And the reason we do that really is to get more insight on the customer and, how the order, what different metrics or events happen to the order. So that way, when we set up the email campaigns, we can accurately target the right audience, send it at the right time, right? And because right now Amazon only gives you pretty much one opportunity, one review request per order. So you only have one shot. So you want to get as much data as you can, and you want to send that email at the right time to the right customer to get that review. And if you use another software, some of the softwares don't have these type of functionalities, and you're just blindly sending out emails, you might lose the opportunity, right? And with the alerts, like I mentioned earlier, some of the more innovating things we're building is like allowing users to input thresholds. So not just monitoring product listing alerts. With the Profits tool, we offer profits metrics. So now they can monitor things like revenue, margins, fees, things like that, which I think makes it really powerful because, as every seller, you're really thirsty for that data.
For sure.
And that's really going to be that advantage to help you, I guess, become better than your competitor.
And you've mentioned that you've been in the Amazon e-commerce space for quite a while. You know the community very well. So you've seen it evolve over the years, but how would you say it's going to kind of evolve in the next couple of years? Like, what are you foreseeing happening?
What I'm foreseeing, I think the space is going to continue to grow because technology is part of our lives, right? Everyone orders stuff through their phone. And I think Amazon is expanding globally, and a lot of these other countries that are maybe years behind of the US, they haven't really adapted to Amazon yet, will eventually kind of have the same customer experience where they can get 2-day shipping, right? Get a product on their porch. And these brands are just going to, kind of establish ground in these other countries. So they're just going to keep expanding. And I think this space is just going to continuously grow. And, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Walmart, or whichever e-commerce solution there is, there's always going to be a platform where, buyers can buy something online and get it delivered. So I don't think this e-commerce space is, going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I guess that's a very exciting part of kind of Threecolts and the journey there because there's endless possibilities almost.
Exactly.
Well, as we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share with the audience?
Just, so far, really enjoyed my journey, starting from, starting a company from scratch and then being able to exit successfully. and then joining Threecolts family. It's been awesome. I think everyone on this team has been great. Everyone's smart. They, have a lot of experience, and really happy where I am right now.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. No, for sure. We do have a great team. Well, thank you for the interview today. I've personally really enjoyed learning about your journey. And yeah, I guess that's a wrap. Thanks so much.
Thank you for your time.